Welcome back. You're watching Center Stage on WDL TV 38. This week, our exclusive interview with John Cherry, Lieutenant Governor for Michigan. You pulled out of the race. A lot of people expected, of course, Governor Jennifer Granholm announced on this program that you would be the presumptive nominee, and within weeks of your announcement, you pulled out. What happened? Tell us perhaps the story that we did not know.
Sure. Well, you always have milestones when you're kind of undertaking a project, and we had certain things we wanted to achieve by the end of last year. One was we wanted to have a significant number of the petition signatures that we needed for the nomination, and we succeeded in doing that. We wanted to make sure that we had at least 1,000 active supporters statewide, and we succeeded at that. And we had a certain level of financial fundraising that we wanted to achieve, and we fell short of that. And it was pretty clear to us that even going into the next year that problem would not correct. It's a function of the economy. I mean, everybody is facing very difficult times, and people weren't in a position to contribute like they have in the past. And so I think it just made it impossible for us to kind of put forward the kind of campaign I thought and the campaign thought would take to win. So we just made the judgment that if that was the case, we needed to pull back and give other Democrats a shot.
What about tapping into the governor's war chest?
Well, the point is that the governor's war chest is based upon people who've contributed to us in the past. You know, they're hurt by this economy just like other people have been hurt. And so the war chest wasn't there.
Is it true that you're still being recruited to come into the race?
Oh, I've had lots of people ask me to get back into the race, but we made a decision in December, actually in January, based upon where we were at then. None of that's changed, and there are other candidates now that have emerged, and they're actively campaigning for the party's nomination.
So let's do an analysis here, and tell us what you make of the field of Democratic candidates that we have right now.
Well, I haven't really spent a lot of time analyzing them. It's my intention to support the party's nominees, so I haven't really been engaged in the primary efforts. I don't even know if all the candidates who are going to be seeking the nomination are even there yet. So I really am not analyzing. I can tell you, though, the Democrat can win this race, and I just...
But what case would they make, though?
Well, here, I mean, I just look at, number one, that what is the field that they face? I mean, the Republicans have an attorney general running who has been part of the most significant scandal of the last century. You have a sheriff from Oakland County who spends time picketing with people who are protesting the creation of General Motors jobs in the state. My gosh, I mean, we need jobs. Why would we protest it? We have a congressman who twitters away national security secrets, and we have a person who has operated a private business, and in that business sent jobs to China. I mean, same problem that was there 4 years ago in the governor's race. So the field is challengeable. A Democrat can go against that challenge. And what's important here, and what people want is a sense that whoever's going to be their governor has a strong understanding of what their needs are, and that has a vision for where Michigan needs to go, and has a plan of how to achieve that vision. If a Democrat can do that, a Democrat can win. There was always a lot of speculation when I was seeking when I was a candidate about, well, does the present administration somehow handicap my campaign? Well, you know what? That's not an issue anymore. I'm not in the race.
And some people ask if you were charismatic enough.
Well, yeah, well, that's not an issue anymore. I'm not the candidate. There are others who are not part of this administration seeking the nomination. So I don't think if that was ever an issue, it's no longer an issue.
But let me ask you, given that this administration, your administration, of course, presided over this economy, and I do understand how you made the connection between the Bush economy, the Bush years, and Michigan. But is your administration, perhaps, is part of that legacy a liability for any Democratic candidate right now that's running for governor?
No, because none of them are part of this administration.
But they're running under Democratic flag.
Well, if in fact this administration is somehow a drag for Democrats, I don't know that I agree with that, but if it's the case, there's no candidate that's part of the administration. They aren't handicapped by it.
But they're running under the Democratic Party.
Well, so the Republicans aren't handicapped by George Bush? I mean, who caused this recession? It wasn't Barack Obama. He was a candidate when all of this, when this economy erupted. You know, so I mean, that was the Republican administration. So we're going to turn over the state government to solve the problems that they themselves created? I mean, I think the public's smarter than that.
So what is at stake here as far as this governor's race is concerned?
What's at stake, and really, what we're talking about is we're looking at what's occurred in Michigan over the past 8-10 years. What's at stake is not the past. What's at stake is the future, and so that's why I believe the candidate who's going to emerge is the one who's focused on the future, provides a vision to the voters of where Michigan can go, and shows the voters that they have a plan to get there. And I think that's what this issue is going to be fought about. You know, if in fact a candidate is focused on the past, that means they have no vision. And so I think the voters are going to sit there and say, you know, I'm worried about my kids and their ability to get a college education. I'm worried about whether I'm going to keep my job or whether my son or daughter is going to get a job. They're concerned about those questions, and they're going to look to candidates who's prepared to answer them, not a candidate who's focused on who did what 5 years ago.
Now, does it matter if there's a candidate who can reach on both sides of the aisle? Because there's a conversation that House Speaker Andy Dillon has some Republican ties or is a little bit amenable to the Republican.
I think what's necessary is a candidate who can demonstrate that they'll work hard to put their agenda in place. And that does require them to work with others. But we've heard a lot lately about the other side of the aisle and bipartisanship. But where did that get Barack Obama? It got him stuck nowhere. It wasn't until he took the bull by the horns and worked with the tools that he had that he was able to succeed in getting his vision in place. And sometimes you have to work that way. I'm saying, you know, what really is at issue in politics is not whether a Democrat can work with Republicans or Republicans can work with Democrats in terms of trying to vote the same way. The issue is whether they're respected by the other side. In other words, if I differ with you or you differ with me, at the end, are we still going to respect one another? And if you have respect for a person, you can bridge your differences.
Let's hold that thought, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. We'll be right back. When we come back, we'll find out, in fact, what John Cherry thinks about Michigan Attorney General Mike Cox, who has gone on the record to challenge the legislation, historic legislation that passed in Washington. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Bankole Thompson. My wardrobe for Center Stage is provided by Fashion International, Metro Detroit's leading clothing men's store. Be sure to check it out for the best stylish and professional outfits.